What are we doing? We're building the motor in Mike's office because
stuff going on out
this
there.
is the cleanest.
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff going on there.
It wasn't the cleanest, but now it's the cleanest place in the shop.
Yeah, I had to clean it up. That was a good reason to clean my office up. So we're gonna build a motor in here. Why not?
It's actually like not bad. It's the same size as Andy's engine building room, basically.
Literally. So this is aluminum block M54. So it has the squirters that bolt into the cylinder right there, basically. So first thing is to put squirters in. Then I gotta clean up the crankshaft. Well, it's already polished, but it's like just polished dirty. So I gotta clean it up before I put it in. And then put it in, make sure the tolerances are good in the mains. Then we can start playing with rings and stuff like that. But stoked. Yeah. I haven't done a 54. Chris and I told each other about 3-4 years ago.
Yeah.
We're never gonna have an M54 again.
No, we were done with it. It was on the way back from Road Atlanta.
Yeah. No, I think Road America.
No, Road America. Yeah. Where it did one single lap.
I did a warm-up lap and blew up.
Yep. And then we said, all right, no more turbos. No more turbos on the aluminum block.
Yeah. So now we're building a naturally aspirated motor. Not even a high revving motor, really. It's gonna be
high compression.
Just making some jams, I hope. But so first things first is get these little squirters and get them all up on that engine. Desmo.
Wow. Technology.
It's a long, arduous process.
Just squirt, clean, bolt,
inspect,
clean, bolt.
Clean, assemble, inspect, clean, assemble. Ooh, this one's got gook on it.
Well, that's why we clean.
This thing doesn't even do anything. Look at it. It's like shut.
Like a pick tool?
Yeah.
No, this one is very clean. Wow, these are actually like drastically different. Let's see if we can.
This one has, you can see, bring the camera over, you can literally see the trunks in the thing.
See this one? You can actually see the ball. This one is just black abyss. Pretty bad. Well, good thing you double, triple checked. Just got a little burr on it. Take care of that real quick.
So I think I know what happened. Whoever we bought this block from gave no fucks. Because look at this main cap. I think we need to fix it too. So this literally never ends. Oh, thank God, it's just a bearing.
The thrust bearing in it.
Yeah, it's like, oh my God, this thing looks totally fucked.
This thing was already apart when you bought it?
Yep. Well, I bought that other engine and the ear was broken off. The engine mount ear. And so basically I just bought a block on eBay. So I was like, all I need is a block. I got all the accessories, I got all the crank, I got the head, I got all the jazz I needed, you know. So I was like, just give me a block and the main caps, and I'll go from there, you know. This isn't as cool as the kid who builds the engine in the dorm room and then his car, but it's the next best thing. What we did here was we put the crank in real quick. I mean, everything was undamaged from the factory, so I had a 99% chance of needing standard size bearings. Went ahead and just double checked it with some plastic gauge real fast. That's cool, all good. So next thing to do after that is gap the piston rings. So I've got all the rings over here scattered across my desk, as you can see here. We have my little station of pistons where I'm keeping track of them, and just gonna keep doing the ring gaps. I'm gonna do about 16 thou on the top, 15 to 16, and then On the bottom one, 21 thou. This is a naturally aspirated motor, so it doesn't need much it doesn't need much gap. That's still probably even a really healthy gap for it. And pretty cool is we're running these high compression 12.77 to 1 pistons from CP. They're like extremely domed. And I've never actually had a piston like that, especially an M50 motor, which are usually around like 11 to 1. And they're X forgings, meaning there's material gone over here. It's like just a smaller forging with like just these supports. It's kind of actually more like an OEM piston. You can see here. This is an OEM piston. This is the X forging. It has a similar profile where like this area is kind of much smaller. If you go to like a aftermarket piston, max power piston, I don't have any around here, but it would be like the complete slug would be round. Those would be kind of used in high horsepower applications, like 1,000 horsepower. But yeah, so we're just gonna use these lightweight pistons with the Carrillo rods, which are also light. I wasn't gonna put rods in this engine, but I bought a set of rods for my turbo motor, and the guy who sold them to me on eBay, I didn't look at them for a while. He took out the 135 mil rods that I got for my 2.8 liter and put in 145 millimeter rods and then sold them. So I ended up with a set of 145 millimeter rods with it, and had no way to return them. And we're having to be building this 2.5 liter, which requires 145 millimeter rods. So I was like, I was gonna put the stock rods in this motor, but I had these sitting, and I was like, well, I guess I'm finally gonna be able to use Carrillos, like my dream rod that I don't even have on my turbo motor now. I put Eagles in it just because I needed to get them in the motor. So we're gonna put Carrillos, so this thing's gonna have a powertrain ready for like 1,000 horsepower, just making like 230 horsepower, which, I mean, I guess better than not, but should be interesting. It'll also look really cool, I guess, but, well, at least while we can film it. So I'll keep doing piston rings, and then we'll put the rods in, and the pistons in, and probably drill the hole for the oil pump tensioner. Keep going.
So bad.
Twin Peaks right there. Hard work. Hardly working.
Thanks, Mitch.
You're welcome, brother.
We're just here for emotional support.
Yeah.
I feel like we're all just standing here for emotional support.
You're doing great, Mike. You're doing great.
This is probably the best motor I've ever built, honestly.
Knock on wood, right the fuck now.
Oh, that's what you said about your motor 30 seconds ago.
We haven't built that one. We haven't run that one yet, but honestly, like this one's just as good. Like I'm taking my sweet ass time.
Yeah. All right, I have shit to do, so this is Kendra's responsibility.
So I got the Carrillo piston, Carrillo rod. Let's go.
So,
How does that seem unreal?
so, what's the word?
Delicate?
Yeah.
Fuck. Guys, I failed.
All that for nothing.
Yeah, ring got stuck.
Rip.
Uh-oh. How do you
See that top ring right there?
get it out?
Well, I can just push it up top. No big deal. So I'll just restart it.
That's
Do it right.
Now you are.
Had a slight miscue there. These aren't the best ring compressors, so I'm gonna blame the tools.
Sure. Not user error.
I was about to say that.
Okay, gotta make sure everything's nice and flat, flush against the engine.
Yeah, I have zero clue what he's doing right now.
It's compressing the ring so it can slide in. So basically, I gotta shoot the gap. This thing's basically holding the same shape as the cylinder wall. So you're trying to pop the rings so they go straight into the cylinder and not gets caught on the top edge.
I got you.
There we go. Boom.
Nice.
So now that's in there, I can kind of lower it down onto the crank. And then I can spin it over. Already lined up because it's all perfectly sweeted. And then wheel pressure. Okay. Get the bolts here, which are already lubed up. On that slack.
Is there a torque spec, I'm assuming? of
Oh
course?
yeah, baby. There's definitely a torque spec. So it's gonna be 10 foot-pounds, and I think 14 foot-pounds, and then it's gonna be 70 degrees of torque angle. Because torque angle is a better way to measure bolt stretch, because there's a standard pitch of the, you know how far you're traveling.
Mm-hmm.
So you're basically preloading the bolt, and then you are stretching it a certain amount.
Huh.
Let's put this in. There it is.
Why doesn't it want to go up? Okay.
Oh, that's a good idea.
Mint. Alright, as you can see, crank still spins nicely. Check the tolerances, they're all pretty much like 2 thou, which is fine. And I mean, check out how sweet these pistons look. Let me get one up top here. And look at them, they protrude the top. Pretty sick. So I think next thing I'll do is put the splash tray thing on the bottom, put the oil pump on, get the sprockets on, get the front cover on. Then we can go ahead and Dremel the head for the M50 port matching using our templates. And we can put our 12mm head studs in, which are upgraded. Then put our chromatic head gasket on. Then it's basically an engine. We can put some headers on it and then drop it in the car. I mean, sounds easy, but it's like, you know, take your time, there's no rush, but there's obviously a giant rush, so a little bit of both. All right, hell yeah. Okay guys, so I'm ready to put on the oil pump tensioner. So first things first is, you might be doing this in the car, you might be doing this on the stand, doesn't really matter. So we're going to take the template that we provide, and we're going to mark the hole for the threaded, we're going to mark the hole that you want to tap and thread with the provided tap and thread, tap and drill bit. God, I'm freaking awful. Anyway, we're going to hold it up here so the main cap is lined up. And I gotta say, it doesn't really have to be exact at all. You're really just trying to find this one. So go ahead and mark the big one. That's gonna be the most important one. We can leave the little one alone for now. If you want to put a little mark in there, by all means, please do, but not required right now. So now what we're gonna do is flip the motor back over and shove some rags in it, if you want. This is a brand new motor, so I'm definitely gonna throw a couple rags in there to make sure we don't get too much metallurgy in the engine itself. Let's keep that minimum. I'm going to blow this all out with air later, but for now, this will be good. You might ask, why didn't you just do this before? I don't know. I wanted to show it how people most likely will be doing it, which is with a crank in the car. Not often you have a fully built M54, to be honest. It's kind of not really a thing people do as often as you think. So, included is the drill bit. The tap size is M7 by 1. Usually you should hit it with a pick or something so you can have a little centering spot, but I'm an absolute beast, so I know I'll be fine. Make sure we're level, square. So we successfully just drilled a hole through our block. Not really the thing most people want to do, but because we're prepared with the SLG oil pump tensioner kit, no big deal. You can see we got very small bits of metal on the inside. I think there was like that little bit on this rag. And I think there's one little one on this one. But again, we will be blowing this motor out before we finish assembly. So you can see in there, there's nothing in there. Still pretty nice and clean. My floor, on the other hand, kind of screwed up. But I'll get the vacuum cleaner, I guess. Alright, next up is to tap the hole. I'm going to go ahead and go get a tap handle. I don't have one in here. Go ahead and drop that on my floor first. And we'll tap that up. Or I'll be an even absolute beast again. Actually, I'm going to be double beast. I'm going to use the drill bit to do it. This is professional level. Okay. Success. Remember, only do that if you're an absolute beast. If you're still kind of learning to be legit, do it by hand. Everything looks pretty swell. Alright, I'm going to grab a tensioner now, a drill bit for the tiny little wire on it, and we will place it on the engine. So the first thing we're going to do is you hold the template up, and you can mark through this smaller hole where you want to drill the hole, but we're not going to choose that distance perfectly. Each spring is slightly different, so what you're going to want to do after marking it is just throw it in a couple threads.
Is that Chris's car or Grant's car?
Sounds like Chris's car. What we're going to do is throw it in a couple threads and then mark where the wire actually sits. So if you look on the tensioner, the wire sits perfectly above it. So we're going to go like this. I'm going to hold it right there. Okay, so I'm just to the left of that. Okay, cool. So now I can go ahead and drill a hole there, and it should fit perfectly. Throw our rags back in. Catch all the bad guys. I got this random smaller drill bit. You can use the same one if you want, but it's a little big, so I like to use this thing smaller. Doesn't really matter, it's just going to hold tension. Alright, we got ourselves a hole in the block again. Whoopsies. Just kidding. All according to plan. Yep, got the rags out. No metal in there. Gonna grab our tensioner. We got our 2 washers behind it that are included. We're going to wrestle a little bit. Make sure it's sitting all the way flush. There we go. To make sure that wire stays all the way in. I think I went a little too many threads in. There we go. So now that we are all the way through, and the spring is all the way through, now we'll torque this to, Google it. We'll put this in the bottom of the screen. You gotta look it up. M7 by 1 torque. $12 foot-pounds. Boom, that's it. Now we have a chain tensioner. So I'll go ahead and get the sprocket sorted out, and I will get the oil pump on, and then, you know, ready to go. This will apply pressure to the chain so that we have less chain slap and don't risk blowing up an oil pump sprocket. Alright guys, now it's time for the upgraded oil pump. This oil pump has a larger shaft, and it's like the front cover's milled, so we can put this big beefy flange on there, so we can use multiple bolts and it will never break. So I'm just going to get her on there, put all the bolts in, and then torque them to 16 foot-pounds. Yep. Alright, resume when I have some stuff on here. So we are torquing this oil pump down 16 foot-pounds. It's nice and fresh looking. This is right how you buy them from our website. You can get the tensioner and the oil pump as a combination, or in the other.
Heck yeah.
If you're doing a race car, you kind of, on this motor, you definitely need an upgraded oil pump.
Oh yeah. Seems like the garage.com.
Isn't this one of the first products we made after the break?
It was the first product we partnered with in our company to actually offer. So we don't actually make this, but our buddies over in England do. So they, you know, we've done hundreds and hundreds of pumps.
Only the best. Nothing but the best, baby.
Boing boing, one more to go.
Look at that.
Boom.
Look at that.
Boom. This one for more for emotional support. Boom. Emotional support. Boom.
Period.
Emotional support. Boink. All right, sweet.
Nice.
Nice. So now I can go find the oil pickup, get that attached, fresh O-ring, and then I can get the crank sprocket on and the oil pump and the chains, and put the front cover on.
Nice.
Keep it going. Keep it rolling. Keep it rolling.